What's up with the 60s and horsepower, man? That poor 1200, it had a full-blown identity crisis. First it's called a 40 horsepower, but also 34, 33, and even 14.7. Seriously. Confused? Let's clear that up. There were different ratings based on different methods of testing, and a little creative marketing magic thrown in. We start with America's favourite, SAE. This was the number you saw in US brochures, and it was the one your uncle bragged about at the pub, but it was, let's say, optimistic. They measured the engine on a stand, no muffler, no fan or generator, nothing holding it back except hope and a fuel line. That's how the 1200 got its famous 40 horsepower. But across the Atlantic, and Germany was using DIN, a much more realistic method. The engine was tested as it sat in the car with all its bits attached, probably in a lab full of engineers with clipboards. Under those conditions, the same 1200 shows up as 34 DIN, which is about the same in horsepower, just in a different accent.
34 Pferdestärken.
And then over in Britain things got stranger. They weren't measuring actual output at all. They were using the RAC horsepower formula, a tax calculation from the early 1900s that somehow survived the Beetles, moon landing and miniskirts. It's just maths based on bore size and cylinder count. The 1200 worked out to be 14.7 RAC horsepower, a number that told nothing about how fast your Beetle was, but everything about how much you owned the government. Fast forward to the 70s, and the US finally updated their SAE rating to what we now call SAE Net. This new method tested much closer to the DIN, with all the accessories in place. On paper, the 1200 suddenly dropped to around 33 horsepower. In reality, nothing changed, except the honesty level. So which one's right? All of them, depending on whose measuring stick you're using. That's the great horsepower confusion, and why the Beetle can be slow, slower, or even downright glacial, depending on which brochure you're reading.
Yeah, but how many kilowatts is it? About 25.